Part 5, Silk Road. When the author he reached Hor, he found it a very ugly place. Hor was a grim and miserable place, very, very ugly. There was no vegetation whatsoever, just dust and rocks, liberally scattered with years of accumulated refuge. And he found there abundantly, it was abundantly means more and more, it was scattered with refuse, that was the garbage was scattered here and there, which was very unfortunate given that the town sat on the shore of Lake Mansarovar. And the author did not like because it was a place which was just next to the Lake Mansarovar, so venerated, so respected place, and it was all filled with filth and dirt. Tibet's most venerated stretch of water, and it was Tibet's most venerated means respected stretch of water. Ancient Hindu and Buddhist cosmology means scientific study of universe, pinpoints Mansarovar as the source of four great Indian rivers: the Indus, the Ganges, the Satluj, and the Brahmaputra. Actually, only the Satluj flows from the lake, but the headwaters of the others all rise nearby on the flanks, that is, the sides of the Mount Kailash. But the reality is that, though it is written in the scriptures of it is believed in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology that Mansarovar is the source of four rivers, but actually only Satluj flows from it, whereas the other three they rise from nearby to the sides of Mount Kailash. We were within the striking distance of the great mountain, and I was very eager to forge ahead. And naturally, the author, they were just very, very near. They were very near. Striking distance means very near to the great mountain, that is the Mount Kailash, and he was very keen to forge ahead, to move ahead. But I had to wait. Zaytan told me to go and drink some tea in Hor's only cafe, which, like all other buildings in town, was constructed from badly painted concrete and had three broken windows. And as instructed by Zaytan, he went and had some hot tea. It was the only cafe in Hor, and it has badly painted concrete and three broken windows. The good view of the lake through one of them helped to compensate for the draft. And the good view which of the lake which he saw from the window was enough to make up for the draft means the cool air was coming in the room through the three windows, and the view, it was good enough to compensate for that. उसकी वजह से वो चल गया. I was served by a Chinese youth in military uniform who spread the grease around on my table with a filthy rag before bringing me a glass and a thermos of tea. And so he at once recognized he was Chinese youth in the military uniform, and he in fact spread the grease oil on his table with a dirty rag cloth on the table. Half an hour later, Zaytan relieved me from my solitary confinement, and we drove past a lot more rocks and rubbish westwards out of town towards Mount Kailash. And then, after half an hour, Zaytan was relieved from his lonely confinement where he was sitting, and they drove towards more rubbish and rocks. My experience in Hor came as a stark contrast to accounts I had read of earlier travelers' first encounters with Lake Mansarovar. And Nick Middleton's experience in Hor was in stark contrast, was in sharp contrast, means it was very opposite to the accounts of the earlier travelers who wrote very good about Lake Mansarovar. Ikae Kawaguchi, a Japanese monk who had arrived there in 1900, was so moved by the sanctity of the lake that he burst into tears. So, Ikai Kawaguchi, he was a monk, Japanese monk, and when he saw Lake Mansarovar, the holiness of the lake, he burst into tears. A couple of years later, the hallowed waters means the respected and most important waters of the Mansarovar, had a similar effect on Sven Hedin, a Swede, a person who came from Sweden who wasn't prone to sentimental outburst. So this person, Sven Hedin, he also bursted out into emotional outburst. Means he also had sudden strong emotion and he burst into tears. It was dark by the time we finally left again, and after 10:30 p.m. we drew up outside a guest house in Darchan for what turned out to be another troubled night. And by the 10:30 they came to a guest house which was in Darchan, and it was dark, of course, and naturally it turned out to be very troubled night for author again. Kicking around in the open air rubbish dump, that passed for the town of Hor had set off my cold once more. So when he was naturally moving outside, in the open rubbish dump that was a heap, the garbage that let his cold again set, he again had cold. He caught the cold, we can say, in Hor. Though, if truth be told, it had never quite disappeared with my herbal tea. And though he had a tea in Hor, as the writer, the driver made him drink in the cafe, that did not cure it. One of my nostrils was blocked again, and as I lay down to sleep, I wasn't convinced that the other would provide me with sufficient oxygen. And so he found that his nostrils blocked again, and when he laid to sleep, he was not at all convenient for him because he was not getting sufficient oxygen. My watch told me I was at 4,760 meters. It wasn't much higher than Ravu, and there I had been gasping for oxygen several times every night. And he saw and he was very much convinced that this place was not as high as Ravu, and because there he had been gasping, he was breathing very, very hard for oxygen several times at every night. I had grown accustomed to these nocturnal disturbances by now, but they still sobered me. So the writer says that now he was very accustomed. He was became habitual to these disturbances at night. Nocturnal means at night, night disturbances, but they still frightened him. Tired and hungry, I started breathing through my mouth. Now he was dead tired, and of course he was very hungry, and he started breathing through his mouth. After a while, I switched to single nostril power, which seemed to be admitting enough oxygen. But just as I was drifting off, I woke up abruptly, and so he switched on to single nostril power. So now he switched on to taking oxygen from one nostril only, because other was filled, and though it was giving him enough of oxygen. But as he was drifting off means as he was about to sleep, I woke up abruptly. वो एकदम suddenly, abruptly means suddenly he woke up. Something was wrong, मुझे लगा कुछ गड़बड़ है. My chest felt strangely heavy, and I set up a movement that cleared my nasal passages almost instantly and relieved the feeling in my chest. Curious, I thought. But जैसे ही समथिंग वेंट रॉन्ग एंड वो उठकर बैठ जाते हैं, माई चेस्ट फेल्ट स्ट्रेंजली हैवी, और एकदम से जैसे वो उठते हैं उनकी जो चेस्ट है वो एकदम हैवी सी हो जाती है. एंड आई सेट अप, लेकिन वो जब वो बैठते हैं, दैट क्लियर्ड हिज नेजल पैसेजेस, उसकी नाक एकदम खुल जाती है ऑलमोस्ट इंस्टेंटली, एकदम से उनका नाक खुल जाता है. एंड रिलीव द फीलिंग इन माई चेस्ट, और चेस्ट में जो हैवीपन था वो भी निकल गया. क्यूरियस, आई थॉट. सो ही फेल्ट वेरी वेरी स्ट्रेंज कि ये क्या हो रहा है. वो लेटते हैं तो नॉस्ट्रल्स बंद हो जाती हैं, एंड व्हेन ही सैट इट वाज ओके. I lay back down and tried again. Same result. I was on the point of disappearing into the land of Nod when something told me not to. So he was again, naturally he was tired. He again tried to sleep. Same result. And as soon as he wanted to disappear into the land of Nod. The land of Nod means he wanted to sleep. Then something inside him told him not to sleep. इट मस्ट हैव बीन दोज इमरजेंसी इलेक्ट्रिकल इम्पल्सेस अगेन. और एकदम से उनको ऐसा लगा जैसे कोई सडन कोई स्ट्रॉन्ग विश अंदर आ रही है कि नहीं तुम लेटो मत. बट दिस वॉज नॉट द सेम एज ऑन प्रीवियस ओकेजन्स. पर ऐसा अब पहले जैसे इम्पल्सेस नहीं थी. दिस टाइम आई वॉज इन गैस्पिंग फॉर ब्रेथ, और इस बार खैर ऐसा भी नहीं था बिकॉज ही वॉज नॉट हैविंग दैट बैड breathing. He was not breathing hard for the breath. I was simply not allowed to go to sleep. Actually, what happens when you go on high altitudes, when you go on such a height, you always have lack of oxygen. So some people, they have very very bad experience because the place lacks oxygen, and there is, of course, there is always they always gasp for breath, breathing hard, है ना, उनकी प्रॉब्लम होती है.